just wanted to show you how to search literature from the SCOPUS database, which is going to be the main database that you're going to be using for your literature reviews. Once you found the site SCOPUS, it will land you on a page like this, or SCOPUS preview. Then you will need to go here and log in using your university details, and you can notice that I also logged in into SCOPUS using my own personal profile so that I can be able to save the lists of searches that I make for future purposes. So just on the landing page, you will notice that it says documents, and on that page it shows search within article, title, abstract, and keywords. This is what we are looking for, but there are other options, but this is what matters or what we will need. And then on the other search bar, there is a search document bar, where this is where you're going to input your keywords, right? So within SCOPUS database, we use the Boolean operators, which is words like and, or, and not. So with the and Boolean operator, you will select any document that meets the entire criteria. In other words, if you have three keywords, you are using and to join all of them. It means it will look for the documents that contain all the three words. And or, as an operator, will go and look for those articles that contain any of the keywords. And not is used to exclude any keywords that you might not want on your search, but the main ones that are being used is and, or. So let's start. So let's say I'm writing on rangelands monitoring and invasive species. So let's say that will be my title. Those are kind of general keywords that are related to my title and my objectives, right? So you will have your own. So the first thing that I want to start with, let's say rangeland, and remember I use the Boolean operator and. So because I don't want just any article about rangeland, I want to combine it. I want all the articles that are focusing on rangelands, but using remote sensing, right? So I will type remote sensing. So with a weight that contains two terms like this, you need to kind of put it inside the quotation marks. And then, so this is just a simple query. Let's say I want to focus just on like the vegetation indices and not like the machine learning algorithms. So I'll say I want an article that contains rangeland and remote sensing and vegetation indices. Then because it's a word, a keyword that contains two terms, I have to put it inside the quotation marks. So once you are happy with that, you can search. So you'll notice that with just 3 keywords, it returns 271 documents, right? So you'll notice that some of the articles are actually even using the machine learning algorithms and so on. And you can visualize all the keywords here. So in your case, you will have a more complex criteria than what I have here. So for example, I may want to combine rangelands and remote sensing in general. Then I put or operator, rangeland, and vegetation indices. Note that the Boolean operators always have to be capitalized. Then I can complicate it further to open the bracket. What else may I need? Say invasions. So biological invasions is a 2-term word. Biological invasions and rangeland and remote sensing. I close the bracket. Note that when I started, I opened two brackets, and so which means at the end of the key string, I will need to put two brackets as well. So let's continue combining more keywords like this. Um, so what else, Reglands, let's say you want to include a keyword on the uses of range length. Um, so let's say pastoral or pastures and remote sensing. Notice how I kind of repeat the combination or some of the keywords like remote sensing and range lengths just to ensure that each of the um, like a piece of key string before all kind of contains the remote sensing component, because I'm not interested in any article that doesn't is not focusing on remote sensing, right? So I'm saying pastures and remote sensing. Um, you could use something specific like vegetation indices, or Sentinel-2 or something like that. Um, but because we want to pick up a lot of um, articles that we can be able to sieve through to select the relevant ones, we need to make it as broad as possible. So I said pastures. So let's say I'm also interested in the machine learning algorithms. So I'm going to say machine learning and range lengths, say, and um, I don't know, maybe classification. Then within this, you can also include or regression, so that it picks any algorithms that are actually classification or register or regression analysis based. Then let me just close this and see what it returns by pressing search. And now I have like 3,000 documents, right? So maybe I'm happy with that because it's quite a lot of articles to look at, or I can continue refining. So instead of just remote sensing, I could use something like optical remote sensing, right? Because maybe I'm interested just on optical remote sensing and not the radar component of it, especially if you're just looking at um, optical remote sensing in your research. You need to make it specific to your research or research topic, because otherwise it will pick up everything about remote sensing, which is kind of broad. So I'm going to say optical all the time, everywhere remote sensing appears. Search again, I have 561 documents, which is more reasonable. So if you get anything between 1,000 and 5, I mean, 1,000 and 1,500, that's okay, because you can always reduce the number by looking at the date and other things. So now we are fine with the search. It returned 561 documents. What we're going to do next is now filter by the date range. So you can see that the articles are starting from 1975. That's too far back. So I want to maybe bring it back in the last 20 years or so. So I'm going to start from 2005 or maybe 2004. Uh, to 2013. So because this year is still ongoing, so people are still publishing. I'm not interested in articles that are published this year, right? So 2003 to 2023, that should give me um, a period of, let's see. a period of 20 years, right? So that's what is expected of you at master's level. But you can still narrow it down to something like the previous 10 years. But because we want to keep a lot of articles as possible, we start with 20 years and then we run. So you will notice now the number is reduced from that 500 and something articles to 445, right? So now I can go again to check, for example, the article types or document types. So for example, you have conferences, you have book chapters, you have reviews. So I usually prefer that we use articles because the conference papers are usually republished as articles, right? But if you want, you can still select both of them. But in this case, I'm just going to select article. And the review articles are very important for you to read just to get the style of writing, how other authors have written the reviews, and what is existing already in terms of the review, so that you can refer to the relevant reviews within your article as well if something has been done very well already. So you don't reinvent the wheel. Next, you will see that there are titles of journals and so on. So there's a publication stage also, which is important. So articles in press are those ones that have been accepted, but they've not been finalized yet. The final ones are the ones that permanent copies that are on the library. So you can either choose both of them, or I mean, leave it as blank to choose both of them, or just select the final ones only, right? And then there's keywords as well, which is more important as well. So you can scan through the keywords to check if they are relevant for you. Sometimes there are some keywords that are just focusing on things that you're not interested in. For example, forestry, in this case, we are not interested in it. Radiometers can be very broad. Article is very broad. We don't want it in our search or the list of articles. There's some keywords on the countries as well, but I'll just leave them for now because they might be linked to some of the important articles as well. But yeah, this is important because some of the fields might be investigating similar issues like the chemistry, physics, and whatever. So we are not really interested in articles that are looking at those things, right? So animalia, I don't know what is this, maybe animals, but I want to remove it. Yeah, you just scan through all the keywords to see if you want to remove anything. For example, there's erosion because of the rangeland degradation keyword, I think. Controlled study, there's forecasting, reverse runoff. Maybe I'm not interested in this. Forecasting, maybe I'm not interested in this. So at the bottom here on the filter by keywords window, you'll see the cancel, exclude, and limit to. So because we are with this, the keywords that we selected now are the ones that we don't want, we're going to say exclude. So if we had selected the ones we wanted, so we would say limit to. So in this case, we'll say exclude. Go ahead and press exclude. And then you'll see that the keywords that are excluded are listed here. And then the documents number now has gone down to 344. This is quite a reasonable number of articles to read. So I'm going to go ahead and download the filter, export filter counts. So this is one of the things that spreadsheets that are going to need. But also, before I go there, you can also filter by language. You will see that there's Chinese, Persian, and so on, which I assume these are languages that you can speak. So we're going to just limit to English only. And then let's see how much it has excluded. So we have like 293 documents, which is enough. And then I'm going to export the filter count. So it has been downloaded to my downloads, as you can see here. Another important spreadsheet to download is this one. You just select all the articles and then go to export and then export the CSV file. So when you get this window, you select all the bibliographical information, abstract and keywords, the funding details. So this particular spreadsheet, we are going to use it for bibliometric analysis. I'm going to show you what that is in a short while or in another video. So I'm going to go ahead and export. So at the bottom here, you will see that it says exporting 293 documents. Done. Now we are going to just save this query, right? So this is how the query appears. You'll see that it added something like publication year and then other things to exclude like your different keywords. So this is the kind of a key string that you will need to kind of just paste in your document so that your literature search can be reproducible. So I'm going to save this search. Remember, I said it's important to save your search. Save it, give it a name, range length, assessment, chapter, and then save. So that is going to appear under your saved searches. So for example, if I just go on my profile, you will notice that the one that I just saved is here, and I have also the other ones that I've searched in the previous times. So I hope you got the gist of it, and you will now be able to search the articles. So next, I'm going to show you how to use these documents within Viewer as viewer to kind of analyze the bibliometric information. Cheers for now.